It's Saturday. What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you. I hope you're doing well here. I'm going to just kind of spend one quick minute here getting everything ramped up here. But let me ask you the question that we ask every time is just like, where are you guys watching from today? Curious how things are going at your place in the world. It's gorgeous here today. It was like 55 degrees at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was out uh, waiting for Run Disney. My first half marathon completed today, and I'm super stoked. It was just such a cool experience. Um, but yeah, the weather here is gorgeous, like the most perfect time of the year. What's up, Chris? I'm actually drinking like water. I'm trying to rehydrate instead of coffee, which is going to like take me away here, dehydrate me a little bit. Uh, I do want to ask you guys, how does the audio sound? How does the visual look? I know a couple weeks ago when we were last together, I think my laptop mic took over. And so for some reason, it was not picking up the way that it should. Ned Kelly, good to see you. Very much appreciate you hanging out. John Manning up in Detroit. I appreciate you checking in from Detroit. I'm sure it's rather chilly. Thanks so much, King of Premium. I appreciate it. The run was so much fun. Like, we're going to talk a little bit about today as we kind of check in with people from all across the world here. You know, it's interesting. I realized that one of the many reasons we moved to Orlando was Disney. It was a big reason, but it was definitely just one of the reasons. And I'm coming across more and more people, like, they almost sneakily ask me, like, "Hey, is it all right that we're moving just to be closer to Disney? Is this like a normal thing that people do?" And the answer, I'm going to spoil it for you. The answer is yes, because there's so much even more beyond. You know, once your kids grow up and you're not like obsessed with princesses and little things like that anymore. There's a lot, and we're going to dive in a little bit today. I want your feedback on like what your favorite things are to do. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some new developments and what is opening up in the area, because I think that's always going to be helpful for you guys. We're talking about new roads and some other stuff, and just hanging out. It's a beautiful Saturday here in Orlando, and I'm excited to spend some time with you guys. So let's see who's checking in. What's going on, Charles? Good to see you. Charles and Mary, I appreciate you. Massachusetts/Winter Garden, my people. What's up, Rob from Long Island? Good to see you. Joe from London, how are you? Jay, the Run Disney crowd was packed, really packed. It was body to body, outside, obviously. So that's one thing. But yeah, there's lots. There's lots. What's going on, Randy from Serenoa Lakes? I've got a bunch of clients buying in Serenoa Lakes right now. That's for sure. Hey, Nancy from Georgia, I appreciate you checking in. Oh, here's a new one. Long time since I've had somebody from Denmark. So good to see you, Annette. I appreciate you hanging out. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this whole idea around like moving to Disney to be moving to Orlando to be closer to Disney. I came across this Reddit, and I've been really interested in Reddit lately. I don't know why. I don't know why it took me so long to like come up with this or start using it a little bit more often. But it's a great resource, I think, to just kind of get the collective idea of what people are thinking. And someone mentioned, you know, has anyone here moved just to be closer to Disney? And I know the one thing that many people say is like, well, if I move there, you know, is it going to lose? Am I going to lose the magic? Is that going to be something that I'm not going to enjoy as much anymore? And it was kind of interesting because I feel the same way as a lot of these people. You know, this lady said, I've been here for 3 or 4 years. I've gone 70 plus times, and it really never loses the magic. But like beyond just the parks and going to Magic Kingdom, like, what are some things to do? Like, what are some things beyond that I think are a lot of fun? And so, and by the way, I've done a whole video on like living in Orlando and basically never going to Disney, because I have those people as well. Like, I'm getting relocated for work. I'm really excited about the job, but like, I'm not really a Disney fan. Like, is there anything else to do? And yeah, the answer is for sure that. I did a whole video on it. But today we're talking about Disney because I did a Run Disney event this morning, and it was a good time. So the first thing I think is really cool is, I'm just going to kick it right there, is the Run Disney events. These are amazing. Like, if you're into like whether it's the 5K or the 10K, the half marathon, there's something for you. I mean, plenty of people walk the 5K. It's 3 miles, not insane. And they have like character meet and greets. They have, it's just a really well done thing. There's like live bands. There's all of these kind of things. They've got, obviously, It's just really well run event. I mean, I think that the whole check-in process, Disney just does it right. And really, it's not so much about the characters as much about the experience and getting out. But let me stop here and kind of see what you guys are saying. Hey, Jennifer from Chicago. Appreciate you hanging out. Grumpy Rich says that's one of the reasons we're moving. Yeah. Cypress Chase for the win. Gated 4 mines from Springs and Magic Kingdom. 4 miles. Yeah, exactly. That is a good one for sure. From snowy Connecticut, I'm getting lots of my northerners hanging out saying, what's going on? What am I doing here? Hey, Alex from Lake Mary. Somebody mentioned something to me today on our channel, our YouTube channel here. Why don't I talk enough about Seminole County? I think Seminole County is amazing. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit about it today. But just like the whole, there's really not a lot of new development here. And I think that's why a lot of folks come to my channel, is to figure out what's like the new stuff that's coming to the area. But anyways, good to see you from there. Hey, Joe, what can I get for $300,000 to $400,000? I was going to come back to your question on that one for sure. Let's kind of keep going on this Disney thing. So Run Disney, I think, is an amazing deal. Drinking around the world at Epcot. I don't know if you guys have ever done that before, but essentially there's all these countries and you can try different stuff from all around the world. There's food and wine. There's all of these events at Epcot. There's the art festival, the holiday festival. There's plenty of things that, again, are like non-Disney, but at Disney, if that makes sense, I think are amazing. Animal Kingdom Safari. I think that's a lot of fun. We do those from time to time. Doing piano bar over at the boardwalk. That's definitely a really cool time. There's golf and spa and cruises and new rides and new experiences that you don't have to wait to like go on your next Disney trip because you live here. So I think a lot of you guys have followed my channel and followed along over the years because we are big Disney fans. And yeah, I'm a real estate agent, but like we're here in Disney. But let me ask you down below, let me know in the comments, what are your favorite things to do as an adult at Disney? Let's get a little running list here, and I'll shout you out as we kind of go along. Went to Disney Springs, still not over how amazing Blaze is. Incredible food product. Yeah, I agree. Disney Springs, funny enough, I went to Disney Springs last night with some friends from out of town, and one of the girls were like, I didn't realize that like this Disney, it was this entertainment district, like what Disney Springs actually is. I just kind of assumed it was a bunch of Disney stores. Like, no, it's amazing. There's restaurants and entertainment and bars and all kind of cool stuff. So that becomes like our town center for those of us that live close to Disney. Moved here with a little bit of everything. Disney is a plus because I can spend it with the kids, but overall the future of Orlando is promising. Coming from the tech hub of California should say a lot. Yeah, dude, I hear you. It's cool to see people moving here because of new jobs and new businesses and all these other kind of things I've covered before. So that's awesome. Good insight. Epcot is the world's best bar crawl. You can get a little bit of something from literally all over the world. It's kind of cool. What's going on, Jen from Kalamazoo? Appreciate you hanging out with me today. All right. Michelle says she's been moving. We're moving by June. Been planning for 10 years to be closer to Disney. That is awesome. I'm so excited for you. David said hello from the UK. I appreciate you checking in. All right, here we go. You guys are checking in. I've got your comments coming through here on your favorite things to do. So drinking coffee and people watching. People watching is a very underrated thing because there's all kinds that come to Disney from all over the world. And it's, to me, fantastic. I mean, seeing how people dress, how they act. It's like, I feel like every psychology class in college should have to take a trip to Disney and watch how people interact with one another. It is rather fun. Dude, I agree. Clark Norton says Skyliner is free and the best ride ever. It's a lot of fun. And like just like the monorail, like you can go from like restaurant to restaurant. You can do a whole like appetizer at one place, jump on the Skyliner or monorail, have your main course somewhere else, then go have drinks or dessert afterwards. And yeah, it's so much fun. Disney Springs is a great option. I agree. Alfred says rides, foods, shows, and festivals for me. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I totally agree. Circus Soleil. So Jennifer, I'm not sure. Have you seen the new Drawn to Life yet? I have not gone. We're gonna get tickets, and that's like on our thing. I think it's in soft open right now. Let me see. Let's see. Circus Soleil is back. Orlando. Heard it was incredible. I had some friends tell me that they had tickets like to the soft open, and it was just like amazing. Yeah, looks like it's open. You can buy regular tickets. How much are tickets right now? Let's see. I'll let you guys see what I'm doing here. From $85. Yeah, starting in 2 weeks. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I need to check it out. A lot of people like in Disney Springs. It's busy. Here's one thing. I don't know if any of you guys are watching that you're in like the developmental space, but one thing that blows my mind about Disney Springs is like it didn't exist, right? Like, I mean, downtown Disney was kind of like this little pleasure island. I get it. There was something there, but it's not what it is today. And who at Disney was like, you know what would be great? We should go spend like $1.5 billion on a new district that's going to have all of these shops, and people are just going to love it. They're going to just flood there, and it's going to be body to body, and we're going to be able to charge insane amount for rent for these different shops, and it's going to work. Like somebody had that. There was a deal meeting, and someone had that thought. I'm like, that seems like a ton to invest without knowing, but they know their market. They know who they're after. And if you look at Disney Springs, again, that's being an adult living near Disney. There's plenty of people. So many people are saying festivals. This is the best. Off to Disney. Walt says, enjoy a cigarette, but no drinking. Chapek, drink yourself stupid, but no smoking. How the tables have turned. Hey, Rachel, good to see you from Ontario. I appreciate you hanging out, checking in. Crystal says that her family is planning to move to Orlando in the next 2 years. Very exciting. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Yeah, Annette, I see. I moved from the Midwest to Orlando. And if you guys don't know, I was originally from Michigan, and we moved down here not too long ago. Now, although it's going by really quick, and the goal was really just a fewfold. One, it was like give our kids a life that would be more interesting than living in Michigan. In terms of just, we were in Detroit, and it was like you're close to Disney, you're not too far from the beaches. You take a cruise if you want. You can see rockets take off in your backyard. There were just so many cool things that we loved about Orlando. But the one thing we hated about Detroit was the 6 months of snow. So I feel your pain in Chicago. All right. Simon says, should be relocating to Orlando this year. I think I know a couple realtors, one or two, that could definitely help you. You guys are definitely coming out in force today with all your comments. I so appreciate it. Charlie says the water parks. That's a really good point as well. That's a very non-Disney, if you will, or it could be that even Blizzard Beach and what's the new one the other one just opened back up? I'm blanking on the name, but the water parks at Disney. Then the resorts, like if you want to do a staycation here and really enjoy all of what the resorts have to offer, that is actually amazing, because there's plenty of like last minute deals and different things that like from the cruises to the hotels that offer Florida residents. You get discounts on a lot of stuff being here. And it's just like, my wife got away for last week just for a night to go just chill get away from the kids for a couple hours. And having that as an amenity is fantastic. Vanessa says it's all about being able to see the castle year round. Magic Kingdom is the best. You know what? We drive past Magic Kingdom and the castle every night, and it'll definitely be an amazing memory for my kids to be able to grow up and say, like, that was what was behind our house, which is great. Jay says he misses Pleasure Island. Before it was Disney Spring. That was a real party. Fireworks every night. I hear it was crazy. I don't remember. I was young, I think. Before, I don't remember it anyways. Tim says going to all the Disney resorts. Yeah, so that's what I was just saying. Like, there's a lot. Like, if you haven't gone resort hopping, there's a lot of cool hotels here. Like, especially on the Disney side, you can jump on like I mentioned, the monorail or the Skyliner, or drive, grab something to eat, and go hang out. There's plenty of stuff to see and do, which is really cool. All right, so let's kind of move on beyond this one. You guys loved that topic though. There's so many of you guys still ramping in on questions. Volcano Bay at Universal. Yeah, I don't want to sleep on Universal either. Like, we go to Universal, we have annual passes there as well. When Disney gets too crowded, we pop over to Universal. When Universal's too crowded, we go hang out at a resort. Usually that's kind of what we do. But yeah, Typhoon Lagoon, that's the one I was thinking about that just reopened, which is so funny, Luis, because like it's January and it's still, to me, it's a little chilly. Like, I think it's going to be 65 today, but there's people there that just go attack it. Oh, it's 76 today. That's not bad. And tomorrow's going to be 83. So I get it. But to reopen a water park in January is hilarious. Simon says, people watching is by far the most underrated activity. Grab a coffee or something stronger and just sit there watching and lose an hour or more. I agree. All right, so let's talk a little bit about yeah, for sure. Bree Tucker's on my team. She usually hangs out, although I think she's showing houses today. But yeah, Bree Tucker's on my team. I've got a team of agents that we kind of all specialize in different parts of the areas. I definitely sell real estate all day, every day. But I have a team now that kind of helps, so that if you're looking at like an Airbnb, that's the last thing I'll mention here. Like, when you're thinking about moving close to Disney, what are some things that you should be thinking about? Drive time is one of them. The secondarily one would be like, do you want to live in an Airbnb neighborhood or not? There's a lot of neighborhoods only for Airbnbs. Like, they don't even have mailboxes. Like, you can't get mail to the house. Sometimes these neighborhoods don't have schools associated with them because they're trying to save on impact fees and taxes. And so there's some questions you got to ask yourself about, living close to Disney. But really, there's so many places here that don't allow Airbnbs and that are very not touristy at all, that have their own culture, their own their own community beyond Disney. But I think a lot of it, is tied together by like-minded people. Johnny says Sunwalk is an underrated place to hang. It's a little bit more chill than the Springs. I agree. It's a little bit more strip mall-y, but yeah, there's some cool stuff over there. Here we go. This is a great question, and I'm going to go back through because there were solid 150 comments. I'm sure I missed questions, and if I miss your question, feel free to reiterate it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But what someone says, what's my take on South Downtown District? And so we call that the Soto District. I'm buying a duplex in Soto right now. I think it's underpriced. The area is underpriced based on the proximity. It's pretty fantastic. Let me pop this up for you so you can take a look. Soto District. Here. All right, so while this is pulling up, my maps have been such an issue lately. Anyhow, if you're looking at downtown Orlando and you look at like where Orlando Health is, like ORMC, Orlando Health Regional Center, which is like the big hotel or big hospital downtown, and you just take that straight south, that becomes Soto. And so you've got some older houses there. The majority of them were built in like the 70s, 80s ish. You have some of them that are in really bad shape and people are tearing them down and building something cool in its place. But the shops that are coming, they just put in a Target maybe 10 years ago, and that whole area, the medical and like all the stuff coming in, it's pretty great. And I think it was actually Jay, who hangs out with us here on Saturdays, he mentioned that there's no like height restriction over in Soto, so they could start to build much higher buildings. Whereas downtown Orlando, which is like 10 minutes north, they can't. They're capped at a certain height because the business airport is right next door. And so yeah. Anyways, it's a long way to say I think that the South, like Soto, is a really good place to live and invest. Yeah, Rob says location. Orlando has Disney, but not far from both coasts too. I agree. we're working on getting people on our team that service the space coast anyhow, because we have a lot of people that are moving here that are working there, that are like living in Oviedo and kind of like East Orlando. But they're kind of like kicking the ball back and forth. Like, do they want to go Volusia County and that sort of thing? But yeah, you're like an hour with traffic to get to the coast. So Alex, really good question. What area is good for remote tech workers in downtown Orlando? So it really depends if you're looking like condo, high rise, then you need to be like right downtown. And there's really only 4 or 5 buildings that I would suggest, like the View, the Waverly. There's the Star. There's only 4 or 5 that are great. There is a new condo building that's going to be coming. They're starting like demo on the land and that sort of thing, but it's probably 2-3 years out from when you could move in. But if you're looking for a condo, there's options. But downtown, there's a lot of like older houses, and so I sold a house the other day. It was originally like the original house was 100 years old, and then they built sort of a newer one on top of it. This was in College Park, but I like College Park, Delaney Park, Thornton Park, Soto. There's plenty of stuff to be close to downtown, have that little downtown nightlife if that's what you're after. But feel free to reach out. I'll give you some direction. Charlie asks, are there any new developments in Orange County besides Horizon West area? Orange County. Yeah, I mean, nothing to that size, just because Orange County doesn't have that sort of land. Like Sunbridge touches Orange County, but it's mostly Osceola. And then the rest of it's going to be more like Wellness Way, which is right next to Horizon West. Nothing to that size, but yeah, there's plenty of like 100, 200 type neighborhoods, home neighborhoods. So, oh, nice. Congrats, man. Got a property in Soto, 1965 built. I mean, these things are like, they're like all block. They're fantastic, you know? Awesome. Let's see. Someone says, if you're doing the live stream, then who submitted this comment? That's awesome. So if I'm getting hacked right now, thanks. That's really exciting. Or somebody changed their photo and changed their name. That'll be interesting to figure out here after I'm done. Yeah, I don't know about Airbnb. I've heard mixed because it's still in the city of Orlando and it's still under those Airbnb rules, but R2 and R3 for sure. Will there be new homes available in Claremont in 2 years? Yeah, I mean, Claremont's going to have for years and years to come, plenty of houses. I mean, that's kind of like, I don't think Claremont's going to be officially built out for like 20 years. I mean, they've got so much land going. Simon, we kind of go down to like Winter Haven a bit, which we're actually going to talk about next. But we're working on getting Tampa as well. Tampa is like, especially like the St. Pete area. There's a new development going on in the St. Pete area. Check this out. This is crazy. Let's see. Yeah, this is insane. Look at this real quick. So again, like I'm not a Tampa guy, St. Pete guy, but like insane kind of like new builds going on over there. I mean, some of these condos are going for $1,000 a square foot. And they're great. I mean, they're building very similar ones to like downtown Orlando as well. But I think St. Pete, because you're so close to the bay, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on there. So we plan on doing a little bit more content and that kind of thing down that way, just so I can get a little bit more familiar with it. Here's something I want to talk about. Let me get rid of this banner real quick. All right, cool. So Ashton Woods has a new development coming out. Actually, this development's been open for a while, but they finally opened their model home here. And so this is why did this disappear on me? There we go. Hills of Mineola. So there's going to be like, it looks like 400 or 500 homes here. And if you look at where this one is located, there's like Pulte right next to it. It's really not too far from. Show you the virtual tour overview photos. Let's get the map vibe going. Details get directions. There's like a map view here. Anyhow, so I'm a big fan of Ashton Woods. They build a really good house. They are going to be doing a, there we go, Mineola. What's going on? Hills of Mineola. View community. There we go. These houses are going to sell from the 370s all the way up into the probably 600s all in. But if you look at the community map here, there we go. Now I can help show you where it's at. It's a cool amenity in terms of like how big it is in general. And I mean, a lot of these neighborhoods out there are going to be quite large. But you've got like KB Homes is building right here. You've got Pulte's building up here. Ashton Woods is building here. Right down here is Bella Colina. So I've been talking about Lake County and kind of everything that's coming on to Claremont, but definitely Mineola is something to really consider if you're looking for new construction. And then now you can finally have a little bit of quality, because I think Ashton Woods just builds a really good house. And there has been other Ashton Woods communities that they've kind of lowered their standard because they're trying to help the pricing. This is actually kind of like the old school Ashton Woods standards, which I think is great. So we live in an Ashton Woods house, and I was really just pleased with the process. So if you're interested in this, the model's finally open. We can take you there. We can send you some information if you're interested. But there's probably, just in this little clump over here, there's like 1,400 houses going in. Yeah, Mineola. Who knew? Who knew all these years ago? Yeah. Yasmin says, love the Ashton Woods build. They've got a really good one. Jay, I have not found out. So there's a 6,000 house community. It's gated. It's going to be active adult, which is 55 and older community. They say it's not going to be Del Webb, which is Pulte's product. And so, like, in my mind, the only other potential, I mean, it could technically, I guess it could be like K-Hov or somebody, but that's a really big neighborhood for them. I think it's going to be like a Disney product. I don't know for sure, but what I do know is that Disney's working on a 55 and older community. They just haven't announced where yet. So that's, to me, why the connection of like huge area. They're already in bed with Tavistock with like their campus and stuff like that in the Lake Nona area. So this would make sense that there's like a partnership going on. So if somebody wants to like leak it to me and shoot me a message, that'd be awesome. Yeah, Grumpy Rich. I think it should be, I think Mineola should be on everybody's short list, just because like 417 is so close and you can get really everywhere. It's not too hard to get to, which in my mind it used to be, but not anymore. So, hey, howdy, hey says, do you ever see a bridge connecting Reunion and Encore resorts? Not really. I mean, not another one over I-4. I mean, there's already the one that goes from the main center of Reunion over I-4 to like the other section, and then you can kind of go around the back way to get to Encore. I think that's how it'll stay. I think the amenities are always going to be separate. So, yeah. Rob says, any thoughts on Del Webb as a builder looking at Oasis? I think Del Webb builds a great product. They've always done a really good job. Their pricing is continually getting up there like everything. But I think that they do a really good job. I did drive by the neighborhood the other day, and there's roads in. I can't believe how many homes they've sold without like models or anything in that neighborhood yet. It's quite wild. Big Orange says, just got back from Disney, went to downtown area of Winter Garden. Wow, neat area. Yeah, it's funny. I had a text or a message on Instagram the other day, and someone said, hey, I'm in town. I follow you on YouTube. We're going to spend a couple days outside of Disney. Where would you go if you want kind of like a cool downtown area? And so I sent him to downtown Winter Garden. And so I'm not sure if that was you or not, but it's a cool spot. Plant Street Market. You got there's a lot of like, we've talked about this on the Orlando Reel. There are a lot of food halls popping up around Orlando. Oh, this is what I want to show you guys. Actually, this is so cool. Hall on Yard, Ivanhoe. So stinking cool. I set this up. I took there we go. On the Yard. So this isn't like a new. They have one is in Nashville. There's one of these in Atlanta. But look at this thing. This thing it's so like, there's nothing else like it in Orlando. It's essentially a food hall, right? There's like 9 different concepts but you have a waitress or a waiter that can come serve you. So like you sit down just like at a normal restaurant, and then the server comes up and says, "Hey, which one of the concepts do you want to eat from?" And then they go pick up your food and bring it to you. And so you can have sushi and barbecue and Ivanhoe Brewing and like anything you want, kind of like a mismatched meld. But the design of it was gorgeous. Like I'm walking through and there's just nothing like it in Orlando. So we're going to go try it as a team, grab lunch here shortly. I just stopped in to see some of the finishes because they were doing a little soft open a couple weeks ago. Yeah, super cool. So Ivanhoe Village, that would be one to go check out. That's where Hall on Yard is, downtown Orlando, or downtown Winter Garden, which is where Big Orange talked about. Check it out. Trying to catch up here. Yeah, Yasmin, the hall reminds me of East End Market. I agree. Just like on steroids, like I love East End Market, where Gideon's originally started. If you guys are Gideon's fans over at Disney Springs, their original shop is in a place called East End Market in Winter Park. And they also had they used to have a place that made like fresh bread. That place just closed, but there's all these like little artisans. Lineage Coffee has a place there. Really very cool. Yasmin, so yeah, they're already working on Disney campus land. They're moving dirt over there in Lake Nona. What's the status of my property? So we're closing, and I just submitted some final docs. We're finally closing in like 2 weeks. Counters and cabinets and everything are in. Yeah, landscape's done, so should be real soon. Finally. So Charlie Kelly, sorry, says, how much of the houses in Sunbridge going for? Will some like Toll Brothers be more than others? Yeah. So the thing about Sunbridge is that they're all really like premium builders. There's like David Weekley's there. Pulte is going to be building down the street, but then you've got Ashton Woods, Toll Brothers. They're all really good builders. Kraft Homes is in there. And so, yeah, you're going to be starting in the fives and kind of going up from there, but it's going to be significantly cheaper than Lake Nona or Laureate Park. You're probably going to save, my guess. I mean, based on the 4 or 5 people that I've said, I want to build a craft home in Laureate Park, or maybe in Sunbridge. What's the price of what am I saving? And the average savings was like 70 or 80 grand. So you're saving a ton by popping over to St. Cloud. Now it is an extra 10 minutes away, and you're building really early in the process, but you're saving some money. Holly says, how long do you think that Horizon West will be built out? And what do you think of Waterley neighborhood? I think we probably got, if I had to guess, 5 to 6 more years left in Horizon West, and then it's going to be completely built out. You've got 6 or 7 neighborhoods going in. Each of them have about a 5-year horizon. So, and they're all starting at different phases right now. So yeah, I would say something like that. So Waterley neighborhood, I think that it's the best value for new construction in Horizon West. Lennar has a neighborhood. I'm not a huge Lennar fan for many reasons, what I've talked about in the past. D.R. Horton, they're the value builder, and so that neighborhood has 3 amenities, and like it's going to have thousands of houses once it's finished. Public's in the neighborhood, but it's I mean, if you're looking for something, a place to save some money and get a brand new house, Waterley's a spot. I missed a ton of questions. Here we go. So, what's my take on the new Evermore Orlando Resort? So, I think it's great. I think for that area. So, if you guys don't know where the Grand Cypress Resort is, they're basically building a $1 billion development right on top of it. They've got a Conrad hotel coming in, as well as some Airbnb, kind of like Airbnb condo hotels that they're going to be building in there, and they're going to have a Crystal Lagoon. Actually, let me just show it to you if you've never seen it before. And they're going to have some restaurant options, which I think is really cool too. Let's see, home. And so why is this important? There's like this crystal lagoon. I mean, it looks amazing. So why is this important though? So this is going to be the closest Airbnb that I can think of. I have to be correct in saying this. The closest Airbnbs that you're going to be able to get to Disney. And so if you want something that you can own as a condo hotel, this is going to be it. But I think that it's going to kind of really elevate that whole area, because Grand Cypress, I mean, in its day it was great, but it got a little old and outdated. So now they're going to have this, and it's amazing. Gosh, I'm so sorry. I missed a ton of questions here. Goodness. All right. Again, if I missed your question, somebody he said he was just about to ask about Evermore. When exactly Disney IT sector moving to Lake Nona? So they're all over. We're actually helping a lot of the people relocate from California that work with Disney, and some of them are moving now, and they're going to be either working from home until their campus is built, or they're incubating in different places all over Orlando. Some people are in Celebration, some are in Main Gate, some are offsite in other places that Disney was renting. But from what I hear, they have to all be here in December of 2023. So there's some time still. But a lot of people are trying to just get involved in, like, especially if they want to do a new construction property, it could take a year to build at this point in some of these neighborhoods. And so they're trying to just get ahead of it. Jerry says St. Cloud between Narcoossee and Sunbridge, 400K new homes. Yeah, I mean, their townhomes are starting in like the high threes, and then the base price of the houses are in the fours. But then by the time you add in options, structural, all that kind of stuff, you're probably going to be touching 5+. Well, you will be. Here's a great question. Mark asks, so how much does proximity to Disney make a difference? It's really based on like the, based on it. Let me read your question again. How much does proximity to Disney make a difference? So it's really up to you. Like, how fast do you want to be able to get there? And then in what area around Disney do you want to live in? So if you're like south of Disney, where a lot of, like in Kissimmee, where a lot of the Airbnb neighborhoods are, traffic there can be an absolute nightmare. But if you go to Horizon West or Windermere, you could get to Disney in 15 or 20 minutes, not as much traffic. So it just depends on what's important to you, where you want to be. But in terms of pricing, a lot of the areas around Disney are very expensive. You've got like Celebration, which is quite expensive. Horizon West is getting more expensive. Windermere is some of the most expensive property in all of Central Florida. So I don't know that they're expensive because they're close to Disney. They're just really good communities all on their own. But then the farther out you get, the less expensive homes are going to be. I never thought about that. That's a really good point. If I just got a map together and figure out how far out do you go, the farther out you go from Disney, it's really more downtown Orlando, I think, though. Anyways, good point. Rob, yeah, I think so. This is a good question, and something we talked to our videographer about specifically is working with some of our past clients who, I mean, we've got hundreds of 5-star reviews on Google, and yet I'd love to get my clients on camera and just kind of hear about their experience and have them share with you guys how we do. Good question. Charlie, are there any new communities coming to Windermere or Winter Garden areas? So Windermere's pretty much built out. There's like one new neighborhood I know of going in right now by Ryan Homes. But yeah, there's plenty in Winter Garden. There's just plenty. Chris, thanks for telling me, man. Let me know if it keeps, hopefully everybody can hear me back here. We got like a new gig service through Spectrum. It's supposed to be like the best. And I was checking the stream here earlier. It's been interesting. Amy says, we love everything Walt Disney World has to offer and never tire. We live up north, but have a home in Celebration. Nice. Congrats. That's very cool. So much to do at Disney in the area, whether it's just me or my husband or the kids or the grands. Yeah, I agree. So much to do. And congrats on your place in Celebration. Such a cool place to live. Rose Lane says, hey, what's going on from Brazil? I appreciate that. So I'm going to take a little quick break here. And if you haven't shared our channel before and or liked the video that we're watching today, if you just take a minute and do that for me, we're almost, we're going to break 200 people watching live, and this will probably get thousands of views afterwards. And it means a ton to me that you guys would spend some time to do this. And so in 2022, we've got really big goals to try to reach as many people as possible and just hear more about what's important to you guys. So thanks for taking time and just dropping comments down below, because to me, the comments let me know like if we're on the right track with our content. And then the more we can do that, the more we can deliver to you guys and hopefully get you what you're looking for. Yeah, Tim. So Tim says, if you're north of Disney, Magic Kingdom takes the longest to get to because of the TTC. Yeah, it's so funny. Like, because if you're right north of Disney, you can see Magic Kingdom, and yet you got to go all the way around to TTC and then walk all the way back up. It's not as convenient. That's why I like to try to go to like Grand Floridian and get like a little something from the shop, get a grab and go. Hopefully park there if we can every once in a while, not all the time. Adam, so this is an interesting one. So Magic Development over on 192, are they still building condominium towers? So yeah, they have said this. They've said that they're going to for years now, for like 3 years now. But there's been no movement. They put up like all of their black screens that said like, coming soon and that sort of thing, but really haven't had any movement in that area. And I don't know what the demand in that area would be. But what I will tell you is I did find out the Grove Resort, which I thought was interesting because to me, I think they're kind of very similar product. The Grove is getting ready to do their next phases. So you've got Grove short-term rentals, Winter Garden. It's the only short-term rentals that you can have in Winter Garden. They're getting ready to rock on their phase 5 at $25 million. Another thing I thought was interesting, right below it, you've got this Willowbrook subdivision. They've got, when you start adding it up, 22, 30, 45, all the way down $100 million build out. And people are always asking like, why don't I talk about Haines City? Well, for one, it's kind of far away, but and there's just not a ton going on there yet, but there are now more and more builders that are spending money and time there. So this new neighborhood going in, there's really no collateral about it, but it's going in right around this whole piece right here. And for those of you asking like Winter Haven, what's there? How far away is it? Currently, as it sits to right now, and there's a little bit of traffic to get to like Disney, is 40 minutes away. It says 37, 40 minutes away, with I-4 being what it is. But you're kind of like equidistant to just as far to Lakeland as you are to Orlando down in Winter Haven, which is really why that's about as far as we go as a team. So that's why I don't talk as much about it. Let's talk about some developments real quick. One thing that is a common theme for us on the whole people moving to Florida and people moving to Orlando is they say, well, we've heard that the roads are terrible. There's not enough infrastructure. They're spending, billions of dollars on all of these new developments and schools and roads and all that kind of stuff, but are not enough on roads. And so I commented back, like, have you heard about the I-4 Ultimate project? And a lot of you have not heard. So for those of you that are not OGs that haven't watched this for a while, this is like the I-4 Ultimate. You go to i4ultimate.com, gives you an idea of what it's going to be, but essentially they're building out. It's supposed to be finished last year, and it's still ongoing. It looks like probably another 18 months until it's like really, really done. But they're essentially building a toll road in the middle of I-4. You can see it right here. And they're spending $2.3 billion. They've been building it for years and years and years. But it starts up in like Longwood above Altamont Springs. And it's not Altamonte or Alamonte. It's Altamont Springs. Anyways, so north, and then it goes all the way down to the attractions. So eventually it's going to come down through here. And then beyond the Ultimate, they're calling it beyond the I-4 Ultimate, will continue on down, which it needs to, because it's going to end kind of right around Dr. Phillips. And then officially it's going to continue on down past Disney and then down into Davenport. And so that's a big thing. Like it really, the toll roads are fantastic. They get you everywhere you really need to go around Orlando. But if you get stuck on I-4, it's a nightmare. And so they're trying to rectify that. And if you look through their costs of like where they're spending money, they're widening bridges, they're adding new on and off ramps, they're adding toll roads up and down I-4. So hopefully will alleviate some traffic. And so, for those of you that are worried that all of this construction will then result in like a stressed out infrastructure, you're right. And you should be nervous, because I'm nervous. But I think that there's enough big projects that have been approved and they're actively working on that. We're gonna get our stuff worked out. Natalie says Waterley and Winter Garden might have been a value in the past, but 800,000 now. So we just put somebody under contract for 510. I mean, obviously it was a smaller house, for like 2,100 square feet. But yeah, if you want one of like the Emerald lines, because that's what they're moving into now over there, it's like their Emerald product, which has better roofing and better windows and better finishes and all that kind of stuff. You're right. You're looking in the 800s. This is a good question. I'm not sure if you were the one who asked me this, but somebody had dropped a comment about this specifically on one of our older videos. So Summerdale, is there any impact due to upcoming Osceola Parkway Express project? I don't think so. I mean, it's not going to be another 417 going through the neighborhood. It's just going to be another road. That's going to be a bit of a connector, and it's going to alleviate some traffic up and down Narcoossee, which I think is a good thing. But I wouldn't be too worried about it. You've already got Boggy Creek right next to the neighborhood. So I wouldn't be as worried about it. Jennifer asks, what are my thoughts on Dr. Phillips? So my office is in Dr. Phillips. And for those of you who don't know, it's like kind of adjacent to Volcano Bay and where Universal Studios is. I love Dr. Phillips for many reasons. One, there's like older houses there, which I'm a big fan of, just kind of like a little bit more charm and character, older neighborhoods with bigger trees. You've got Restaurant Row right there, which is great. Which is, if you're looking on the map, it's Sand Lake is Restaurant Row. It's got 170 restaurants, everything from like really nice dining all the way down to Chick-fil-A, which I guess Chick-fil-A could be nice dining, but depending on who you ask. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Dr. Phillips. I think they've got really great location in general. Fantastic. Well, Alfred, there's been no actual start date on Brightline. They say that they're allocating funds and it's been approved, but I have not seen an actual start date of when that's going to come to Disney. And that's a big deal because they got rid of their Magical Express. And so if somebody could take a train from MCO over to Disney Springs, that would be obviously beneficial. But yeah, not anything as of yet. Yeah, Nick, it's just tough, man. I think, Nick, there's been 40 or 50 lots left in Summerdale, and they haven't started any of them yet. But in terms of like why you shouldn't live there, I think it's a great product that they're building on paper. I just haven't seen an actual finished house there yet. They were selling like 5-10 of them a month, and then they just haven't been they've been doing more infrastructure stuff to get ready. And so I think a lot of people's homes are being pushed. So in terms of like any reason not to, it's just a little bit of an unknown on finish time. But if you're renting currently or you're not in a massive rush, then I think Summerdale is going to be great. Mark asks, is everyone offering above asking in this market? It depends on the area. Like, it's really pocket driven. So in some areas that the inventory is a little bit low, in Orlando is an interesting thing because like Winter Park, for example, there's really no new construction in Winter Park anymore. And so, and there's really no listings. And so even like teardowns are getting crazy 5, 10, 15 offers way over asking because developers and buyers both want them to remodel or tear down, right? Some of the other areas that are still more affordable are still getting crazy over asking multiple offers. But for the most part, the market's a bit more chill. My team and I, we track every week on how many offers we actually write versus get accepted. And our acceptance rate is going up and up and up. which to me means that there's a little bit less demand. Now, we did just come out of the holiday season, and January is typically our slowest month of the year. So that could be some of it. But right now, it's actually a fantastic time to jump in the market. Let's get into it. Let's get into the new report, because we are coming due towards the end of the day today of our time together. I'm gonna go get a nap because I've been up since like 2:30 in the morning. So here's what's going on. This is interesting to me for a few reasons. New listings 545. We haven't seen that low of a number. Man, I need to start tracking this a little bit better on an Excel spreadsheet. Unfortunately, once this data is gone, it's gone. But there, that number is usually 6, 7, 800, 1,000, and it's 500. And then you look at the number of homes that are currently pending, and it's 836, which is insane, and then sold. So the number of price increases back on the markets, all of these kind of things sort of tell me a few things. One, there's still more buyers than there are sellers, and we're still in a very strong sellers market. When you do look at the pending number here the back on market number here, 251, that's a big number. Think about pending number 836, and roughly 30% of them come back to market. It's a big number. It's a really big number. And the number one reason why ours are still falling apart are appraisals and inspections. Appraisers are not picking up on how fast the market has appreciated. They're still allowed to use comparables from 6 months ago, even though values have been, they've come up 8 to 10% since then. So if you get a bad appraisal and you as a buyer haven't waived appraisal, and you and the seller can't get together, then you're going back on the market. Then inspections, buyers are like, hey, we're paying a premium for this house. We don't want to have to do a ton, unfortunately. And sellers are like, well, it's a seller's market. If you don't want to move forward, just back out. So the fact that you've got that many back on the market shows kind of like those two things are still happening quite a bit. But not a lot of new listings. That is for sure. Thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it, Mark. Gunner Games, who's a good custom builder in the area? There's a lot of them, man. I've got 6 or 7 that I'm friendly with, that I know their product is really good. So it depends on your style. I mean, builders typically build to an architect's plans, yes, but there's some of them that like specialize in a certain look, a modern look, a contemporary look, more traditional. So just let me know what you think you're looking for. You can shoot me an email, and I can send you over some custom home builders. Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. Yes, Disney is considering a 55 and older community. That's what they're. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's actively in development, although nobody knows where it's at yet. I still think it's going to be Sunbridge, but we'll see. Sorry you're late. No, don't be sorry you're late. Thanks for coming to hang out. I'm going to try to get 2 more questions in, and then I am going to wrap up for the day. Epic Universe launching. Has there been any discussion about Disney expanding another theme park? Yeah, I mean, it's really more hearsay. I haven't heard from any of the executives that I work with, or any of the people I'm friendly with. But there's plenty of bloggers and people that have speculated that to keep up with Universal, they're going to have to do something. Makes sense. What would it be though? That's the thing, Robert. What's the next park that we don't already have? Why not just sort of take the parks that we already have and expand them, would be what I would think would be the thing to do. But I don't think they're allowed to do the whole adventure park with Marvel and all that stuff on this side of the Mississippi. Maybe they are beyond, but it's not Spider-Man. I don't know. Let me know. What would you do down below if you're going to create another gate for Disney? What would it be about? All right. any new vintage memorabilia? No vintage memorabilia yet. I picked up this today, which I'm stoked about. My medal. I did pick this up. Let's see if you guys can see it. Ooh, let me move this around. Let's see. I'll help you out, King of Premium. Right. Anyways, right over here, I've got a replica of the Galaxy's Edge, like the panels you see as you're going throughout there. There's a guy on Instagram that makes them. They're actually not super expensive. The battery died on it, but it lights up and does all this kind of stuff. It looks like it's straight up out of Galaxy's Edge. It's Wampa's Workshop on Instagram, and he makes really cool stuff for not that much money. It's all like 3D printed and painted and worn and stuff. It's very cool. Robert says they've kicked around the Villains Park idea for a while. That would be cool. I'd be super stoked about that. Disney Villains and Heroes Park. I like it. That's true. With their new acquisition of Fox, they have a lot of IP to play with. I agree. We did an article over on the Orlando Reel talking about like IP in Epcot, and like some people are kind of against all of the changes, and others are like really welcoming it. I welcome it. Like I love the history and sort of like the nostalgia of all of this stuff with Disney, but like we need new stuff as well. I will not be there for the full tomorrow, but I hope you crush it at the full if you're going. Yeah, I agree. Like more like a universal kind of product, right? So something a little bit more mature, but then with the theming of Disney, I think that would be brilliant. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to sign off. And hey, follow me over on Instagram. It's at Ken Pozek. I post stuff there like multiple times a day about stuff that's going on in Orlando, Disney, real estate, theme parks, non-theme parks, all the good stuff. So follow me over there. Love to interact with you guys from there. But thanks for spending some time with me on a Saturday, our first one of 2022 this year. We've got a lot of cool stuff planned, and I just appreciate y'all. So have an awesome weekend. Talk soon.